Hello, everyone. This is Professor Stallings checking in for week 3 for Old Testament theology. And to touch base on a few things. So, week 3 will have basically the same cadence as the prior weeks. We will have a lot less reading than usual, but we will have more video presentations. So, let me go through that real quick. I also posted an announcement about this, but this will just go in a little more detail on content. So, in the Walt Hugh book, you're going to be reading chapters 11 and 12, which will be covering the covenant with Abraham and the covenant with Noah. And then the Gentry Welland books, you're going to be covering chapters 6 and 7, which will be covering the Abraham covenant and the covenant with Moses. You then have 6 video presentations to go over, and the total time on that is a little over an hour, so it's not too much, so you can space it out a little bit. Now, I did want to talk a little bit about the material we'll be covering. So, again, we're focusing on Old Testament theology, and what a lot of you pointed out over the last couple of weeks was the importance of covenant in Old Testament theology, and I completely agree. The covenants are really the pillars, I believe, which hold up the Old Testament narrative and help us progress through it in a logical way, sort of framing it. But then it also points ahead to what's to come, namely Christ. So as you're reading into these covenants, we've covered the covenant with Adam and Eve. Sometimes it's called the creation covenant. And here we're going to be looking at 3, the covenant with Abraham, covenant with Noah, covenant with Moses. And so all 3 of them, in a sense, build off of each other, right? So when the Lord makes his covenant with Noah, that's going to build off of the creation covenant. In a sense, he's flooding the earth because sin has run rampant. So he is purging creation at that point, and he is making a promise with Noah saying he will never again destroy the earth by flood, but he's also offering Noah and his family, who are shown to be righteous, a way to redemption by trusting in him and building the ark and staying on the ark. So this is some promises and some fulfillment already in the Noahic covenant that's building off of what happened in the creation covenant. And then you have the covenant with Abraham, where Abraham is going to be this man who is also righteous. He longs for a child with his wife Sarai. And in this journey that he's on to have a child, he's trusting in God, and the Lord tells him, I will make you a father of many nations. And then he talks about the seed that will spring forth from Abraham's line, but he doesn't say seed as in the seed of many, right, where there is this proliferation of all these descendants. The word seed is a singular word, and so even there we see this is pointing to a singular seed, a singular person who ends up being Jesus Christ, with whom the Lord will bless the nations. So it's building off of this blessing and these promises to Noah. And then the covenant with Moses is all about salvation. It's all about the Lord promising to rescue his people, continuing that lineage of Abraham, continuing his blessing of the Israelites by pulling them out of captivity and using Moses, who in the future the Jews look as their father to. They regard Moses very highly, right? And then Jesus comes along and says, I am greater than even Moses. So even in the Mosaic covenant, we're seeing these seeds planted where it's pointed ahead to salvation, pointing ahead to Jesus. So I really think if you look for those connections, if you look for those bridges that the covenants build off of each other, you're going to find a lot of interesting stuff. So really encourage you to intentionally read these chapters, watch the videos, and really focus on the language of these covenants and how they're building off of each other and how they're all ultimately pointing ahead to the Messiah, to Jesus Christ. So I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say about that. As far as your assignments, you have a discussion board post. Again, your first response due on Thursday has to be at least 200 to 300 words. And to clarify something I believe I did in the announcement about the or in your grades about the discussion board post, I want to make sure that when we say 200 to 300 words, I'm talking about the actual meat and potatoes of what you're writing. You know, I want us to be cordial, I want us to be friendly, but if you spend 50 words saying, hello everyone, I hope you have a great week, I enjoyed the reading, I hope you enjoyed it too, and then you spend another 10 or 15, 20 words on a closing statement that doesn't really have to do with what we're talking about, I'm not going to count that towards your word count. And the reason I do that is because 200 to 300 words isn't that much. It's really not. And to get into some of these concepts the discussion board are having you guys cover, you need to use every ounce that you have, every bit of word count to answer the questions as best as you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying this again to discourage you. I think that overall we're turning in really good work, but again, I would just encourage you to focus the heart of your writing, those 200 to 300 words, on actually answering the question. Many times it's multiple questions. There's, kind of a question 1, part A, B, C going on, and elaborate. Don't just say, I think this. I want you guys to really elaborate, to really dig in, to really provide some insight into what you're reading into the question. So I'm going to try to put some more comments around that in your individual post. I did a little bit on week 1, but again, so pay attention to the feedback you get. My goal is to get your discussion board posts graded over the next couple of days. You also have your reading report, which is, again, just a verification you read all the reading. And then finally, you have another piece of your theological essay to turn in. Last week were your topics. If you want to change your topic, that's fine. Just email me and let me know, and I'll keep track of it. And this week, you're turning in 7 to 10 passages that you're going to use in your essay. So this is 7 to 10 unique passages, and that's not verses. Don't give me, I'm going to cover Matthew 5, verses 8 through 18. No, 10 unique passages that are going to be used in your theological essay. So just on the Bible still at this point, you can use some outside sources to point you in the right direction, but that's all we're looking for this next batch, for this next setting of the assignment. Other than that, that's all we have. I'm using this week to get caught up. Apologies for some delay on that. I'm preparing to actually leave for a doctoral seminar next week, which I'm very excited to be at. This is the type of training I'm getting to be a better instructor to you guys. So really hoping that I can use this week and want to learn next week to just help me continue to teach you guys and to provide insight that is helpful to you going forward. I am going to be trying to plan a meetup on campus, most likely in Java City. So if you're on campus, love for you to stop by, let me buy you a coffee, and we can just get a chance to meet, chat about the class if you want to. I'll also try to do a Zoom hangout as well. So as those get planned, I'll provide updates on that. I hope you all have a great week. Look forward to seeing you online. All right, bye.